Secrets Unwrapped is brought to you in part by White Rocks Design Studio at Turcotte Design, who has been serving Southern Vermont for over 20 years. Fish Donkey, the future of tournament fishing. Targets Unlimited, Mercer Sports. Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped hot sauce with that big craft heat and that big craft taste. Corker Boots, P-Line, Sugar Mountain Trading Company. The Outdoor Experience Guide Service, who has been serving Southern Wisconsin for over 20 years. Cooler Guard Spray with the cleaning power of enzymes. Okuma Fishing, Hoffman Lures Incorporated, and a proud member of the Southwest Chamber of Commerce. Welcome in Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. I'm your host, Chris Bates, and boy, Craig, my cameraman, and myself, we have traveled once again to Lake Ontario to look for some kings, some brown trout, and a sporadic lake trout. But before we do that, we have to welcome in our guest, Jarod Lyons, who is going to be taking us out today on the Blue Doggie. Thank you very much. I appreciate this.
Thanks for coming.
Before we get started, we want to know a little bit about you and how you got started on fishing Lake Ontario.
Okay. So I grew up with an uncle who was a charter captain. I started fishing out here approximately 1985. About 80, I think the summer of 88, I first mated for him on several different boats out here. So I've been fishing out here well over 30 years now. And I mean,
and you graduated to this really cool boat. What kind of boat is this?
This is a 1977 Trojan.
It's in really good shape.
It's a beautiful boat. Typical story. I bought it from a broker. Actually, it was owned by a 92-year-old man who had passed away.
Right.
The boat, from what I heard, hardly ever left the dock. The guy took immaculate care of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I can't wait to get out on it and get out in the water and stuff. But, I love the big water fish. I love that. So like Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. Out here, what is the lake like? Like, what is Lake Ontario like to fish, weather-wise, depth-wise? What is that gamut?
The weather is, it's one of the Great Lakes. It's, the weather can change on a dime. As far as depth-wise, it's an 800-foot deep lake. We're normally fishing in...
Wow.
Normally somewhere between 100 and 300 feet of water.
Okay.
Occasionally we'll run a little deeper. Obviously paying attention to weather a lot of times depends on how deep we're going to go, because we've got to run a long way to get to deep water from here in Mexico.
Right.
So...
I've done this before many times, and I always ask the captains, why do these fish migrate out to 100 foot, 150 foot of water, and they're only in that top column?
Well, there's two primary things that decide where the fish are going to be: temperature and food.
Okay.
So they're chasing bait, or they're looking for the prime temperature that they're looking for.
Right. What is that? Do you know by off?
Kings are in the 50 degree, 49, 48 to 50 degree range. Browns like a little warmer, up to 52.
Right.
So.
Okay, and then the bait fish, they're chasing alewives?
Mainly alewives.
What else is out there for them?
Well, depending on We have the round gobies in here now, unfortunately.
Right.
The browns have been voraciously feeding on them recently.
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Right.
It's not a good thing that they're here, but it's a good thing that the browns are eating them.
Right.
The alewives and the smelt population has come back significantly in the last few years. So those are their primary.
Do they
food
still
sources.
have those big alewife kills that you see on the beaches?
They do, but not as much as they used to. The winters have been a lot. Usually that's caused by a really severe winter, a big freeze.
Right.
So we haven't had that recently. So the alewife population has come back.
Right.
And the salmon follow.
So basically, we're going to be chasing kings.
The primary target's going to be kings.
And then what are we looking for? Like, are we looking for whatever bites it, or are you hoping that maybe we can get into older fish?
Obviously, mature fish are always what you're trying to target.
Right.
Three-year-old fish are the primary target. You don't see a lot of 4-year-old fish. Occasionally, you will get a 4-year-old fish. Those are the big 30-pound
Right.
Thais, as they call them.
Right.
Primarily, we'll be catching 2- and 3-year-old fish.
Okay, that sounds great. And then a couple of things before we go to break. The lures. What kind of lures are we using?
We're going to be using spoons. We're going to be using flasher fly combinations, and we're going to be using meat rigs. The flasher fly is basically a paddle, approximately this big, with a fly behind it. Meat rig being similar, except you're putting an actual piece of meat into a piece of filleted alewife into the head.
Right.
And then spoons, I think, kind of speaks for themselves.
Right.
Everybody that's ever fished knows what a spoon is.
Do you have special spoons that you like to use?
We use several different spoons. We are luckily enough to be sponsored by a company out of Canada called TNT. They make some of the best quality spoons that you will ever find, and we use a lot of their stuff. Their paint finishes and everything are just superior to a lot of the big manufacturers, and we have a few special customs that they make for us. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
And not the alewives, but the lamprey. More than likely, we're probably gonna see a fish today with a lamprey sore or a lamprey on it.
Yeah, there's a strong possibility we're going to see at least a lamprey scar for sure.
Right.
Possibly a lamprey.
Right.
During COVID, unfortunately, the product that kills the lampreys that they treat the streams with comes out of Canada.
Right.
During COVID, it wasn't shipped into the United States due to
the regulations. And stuff.
The lamprey population kind of exploded for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Now they're working on getting it back under control. We have not seen an actual live lamprey yet this year. Right. But we have seen a lot of fish with scars for sure.
All right. Well, I think we're ready to go. If you're ready to go, let's fire this thing up and head out to the lake and see what we can do.
Out to salmon land.
Right. All right, folks, hang tight. We're going to come back with more right after this. We're going to let this bad boy go, but wow, look at that fish.
Oh my God, that's a
Wow. Stay tuned for your outdoor tip of the week.
Hey folks, Captain Jarod of Blue Doggie Sport Fishing here, and I am here with your outdoor tip of the week. Out here on the Great Lakes when we're trolling, we run a lot of what we call attractors with long leaders on flasher flies or meat rig combinations. These things can get a little bit tricky. As you can see, there's not a great way to store them. A lot of times people will wrap them around, you chuck them sideways, throw them somewhere, they get hooked up on stuff, as you can see. So we came up with a pretty simple solution to this, and believe it or not, it's just called a pool noodle. Take a short piece of pool noodle, cut a slit in it, slide your attractor in there, wrap your leader around, again, gets hooked up, wrap your leader around, you got a hook keeper right there. Simple and easy, throw it up on the dash. There you go, there's your outdoor tip of the week.
Hey everybody, we are getting ready to learn how to set up for our salmon trip here. And Johnny Davendonis, a local guy, is out on Jarod Lyons' boat today, the Blue Doggie, and we're going to have a great time fishing. Anyway, what are we going to do and how are we doing it?
Well, right now we're going to deploy a series of rods, starting with our downriggers, one of which will have a fish hawk probe on it. That's going to tell us our speed at depth, whatever depth we put it at. It's also going to tell us our temperature at whatever depth we put it at. And that's going to give us a starting point of where we're going to find these fish. Then we're also going to put out 2 diver rods that go out the sides of those, and then a series of board rods that'll be out the sides of those.
So a question, I'm obsessed with copper, lead core. Why do we use that?
There's different tactics for getting your lines deep and behind the boat. The advantage of being behind the boat, we're away from the lures are away from the fish. We're not spooking the fish as much. Plus, we're achieving the depth. Copper will get you the standard copper we run, atomic copper. That'll get you about 22 feet for every 100 feet deployed. So we'll have predetermined increments of 2, 3, 4, 500 feet.
Right.
And then there's a lead core line as well. That's a lead wrapped sheath. That'll get you about 5 feet for every color. Color's 30.
Right.
30.
And then the object is to create like a school.
More or less. Yeah.
So that's why we set out the rods the way it is. And these right here are for your downriggers.
Correct.
And then is that something we're going to do today?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, hang tight. We'll be back with more right after this.
Owner of Door 44 Winery here in Door County, and you are watching an episode of Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped.
Hey everybody, Chris Bates, Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped on the Blue Doggie. What, I think he just got off.
No, he didn't. He's there.
Yeah. Anyway, we're out salmon fishing with Captain Jarod and having a great time out here on Lake Ontario with his first mate, Johnny Davendonis, and I gotta walk backwards here. Craig, see if you can get the fish. Little brown.
That's how you lift. Reel down, reel down, reel down. Lift. Easy. Get in there.
Hey everybody, Chris Bates, Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. Wow, what a time that we're having here on the Blue Doggie with Captain Jarod, catching, what kind of fish is this?
King Salmon.
All right, so how can we tell it's not a coho or a steelhead? And how old is this fish?
That's probably a 2-year-old fish, definitely a juvenile fish.
Okay.
Definitely not a mature king, but good eating fish right there for sure.
Right.
So as far as how you tell, first of all, the entire tail is going to have spots on it.
Okay.
For a coho, only going to have spots on the top of the tail.
Okay.
One of the easiest way, look at the color of their mouth. King has a completely black mouth.
Okay.
The coho is going to have gray.
Yeah.
More gray in it. As far as a steelhead goes,
yeah,
steelhead basically have a completely different look. They're going to have more of a squarer tail, more of a defined light to dark on their back.
All right, great. You know, sometimes I wondered, geez, what is the real difference? But okay, they're all salmon.
They're all, well, steelhead aren't.
All right, folks, we'll be back with more right after this.
Okay. When I tell you to, you're going to back up. Yep. He pulls down and tries to dig into that cable. Fish right there, too, Captain. Okay, he's right here. Swing your rod a little that way. Keep reeling. We got something going on here. Sorry about the net, guys. Let the net handle go in there. You come off, Cap? Yeah.
Johnny, he's right here. Fish is crazy.
Might need help.
That's a wicked great fish.
Keep your rod up. Okay.
That might be an Atlantic, isn't
The
it?
king.
Is it?
Come around the rod. There you go. Good job. Keep his head out of the water.
Yep.
Good job.
Nice job. Nice job, boys.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. We are on the Blue Doggie having a blast. I gotta talk to Captain Jarod Lyons here. One question I always have is, can you fish without electronics on Lake Ontario? Or does it make it easier for location?
Absolutely makes it easier for location. Of course, you can fish without them. It's you'd really be. If you look around how big this lake is, how deep this lake is. You know, there's a lot of factors with these fish that you really. Temperature, speed, you know, location, what way the wind blew the day before moves the fish around. So, first of all, electronics primarily safety as well. You know, we're about 8 miles from port right now. You start heading back in or headed out, fog rolls in, everything looks the same. So that right there will get us home.
So, you know, a lot of times people look at this and they go, yeah, I know what that is. But for me, I've seen these hundreds of times. But for a viewer, what does this tell you?
Okay, so I've got a split screen up right now. On the left is our graph, our map, so to speak, our chart. You can see the lines, the squiggly lines. That's basically our tracks from the last few trips.
So it's those right there, okay.
Which also I would use to follow back in, and I will use to follow back in on the way home.
Right.
On the right side is our 2D sonar. The 3 lines that you see are our 3 downrigger balls, showing us our depth that they're at. Even though the downriggers have a line counter on them, this gives us a better idea of where they are in relationship to the fish. These little arches here that you see are actually fish.
Oh, I see. That's pretty interesting how, and then you got one down, like if that's 151 feet, right?
Yep.
So you got them down at 151 feet or lower.
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. So you get your information, set up your rods according to your graph.
Mm-hmm. And over here you'll see, this is our fish hawk, which we have a probe that's down on one of the downrigger balls. This is showing us our speed and our temperature at the depth we're fishing. At the top, you're going to see the 52.5 is the water temperature on the surface.
Right.
2.0 is our speed on the surface. Below that, you're going to see 46.6, 46.5. That's where the temperature at where our lures are running.
Right.
And we're at 2.4 miles an hour. I got some info from a buddy yesterday that they had a great day. Most of their fish were caught between 2.3 and 2.7 miles an hour. So we're going to keep an eye on that.
And that adjusts, right? The fish, you know, so you have to be able to adjust to how fast you're trolling.
Right, and we'll you'll see us bump the throttle up and down periodically to try to entice a bite. You can tell a lot of times on a turn, if you're making a turn to the left to the port side, the starboard rigger or starboard board goes off. That board's going a little bit faster. It tells you the fish might want a little bit more speed.
Right. All right, great. Thanks for the info on the graph. It's really interesting. All right, folks, we'll be back with more right after this.
I'm Erica Tanner, and you're watching Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped on Comcast Cable 1075.
Welcome back to Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped. Holy cow, folks, what a trip! First, I didn't know what to expect. Jarod kept me in the loop here. We talked about the electronics. You saw that. Just everything that we had to do, we did it right. And boy, you know your stuff, right? But let's talk about something very important, even more so than the equipment, the boat, catching fish, we have to give credit to your first mate. Tell us what he does.
I can't even begin to tell you what he does.
Wow.
He is I say it all the time, I'm not lying, he is the hardest working mate on the Great Lakes. There's no question. He doesn't stop. I am the luckiest, and we look at it, Johnny does not work for me. Johnny and I are a team.
Right.
We work together, and he is just he's as good as they come. You saw, he doesn't stop. The man does not stop.
I mean, in the video, in our fish catching mode, it was incredible. Back and forth, making sure the lines weren't in the way. I want to ask about this was, why do we lose the fish? What happens when we have one hooked and we're bringing them in and all of a sudden it's gone? What happened?
There's several different things that are going to happen. Obviously, break-offs happen. We did have a break-off today. We don't like break-offs because they cost a lot of money.
Right.
The fish sometimes just may not be hooked properly. These fish are angry. They don't want to be coming to the boat.
Right.
They can twist a hook. They can break a hook. They can break a split ring. They can twist a hook out of their mouth. Especially with treble hooks, a lot of times when they've got multiple trebles in their mouth, they can get that hook to twist. Sometimes they get a little bit of slack, they shake their head, the hook comes out. When we're running downriggers especially, you've got line coming down, going straight out, so you've got a lot of this slack line in the middle.
Okay.
So before that fish comes tight, anybody that's ever fished, you set the hook. You want the hook set. With all that slack in there, that's not possible. So a lot of times they've just got time to get that head shake and get rid of it before it gets really hooked.
And I noticed that really a lot of times when two rods, and here's a term, folks, ready? Here's an Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped term that we learned today. Two rods are firing. So I like that, right? They fire. So when the two rods fired, I noticed that is really when things were different than just a single.
Yeah, obviously when you've got two fish on, you've got double the problems of one fish.
Right.
Occasionally we triple, and that's even more fun.
Right. And sometimes, you fish do what they want to do, and sometimes they come right at the boat. Sometimes they go into a cable. Mm-hmm. Right. So, right. But I'm just saying that it's not as easy as people think. And you have to have somebody who knows what's going on. So you have your first mate, Johnny, there on the spot.
Absolutely.
Taking care of any issues with bringing in a fish. And what I found, too, that was really interesting, he talked to us about how to bring the fish in. Mm-hmm. Reel, don't reel, back up. He actually told us how to make sure we kept that fish on the line.
And you want to keep the fish behind the boat as much as you possibly can. As you see, when they go to the side, bad things happen.
Bad things happen.
And these fish, these spring kings, are different. They are full of energy. We catch a lot of them a lot closer to the boat than you do, say, later on in the season.
Right.
So they're not always tired when they get here.
Right.
And they like to go crazy. It's nice when we get them with that first shot with a net, but when you don't.
So we have one right here. Folks, if you want to catch fish like this, you want to get hold of Captain Jarod Lyons. What is the phone number for you guys?
Phone number is 518-590-5091.
Can they get you on an email?
Email is actually legacyfishingcharters@gmail.com.
And website?
I do not have a website currently.
Facebook?
Facebook, I am all over Facebook. Blue Doggie Sport Fishing and Legacy Fishing Charters, both are my pages.
Right.
I have another page that I run, Angled Addiction. So,
folks, look at this fish. Lake Ontario Kings with Captain Jarod Lyons and the Blue Doggie. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Hang tight. We'll be back with more right after this. Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped is brought to you in part by White Rocks Design Studio at Turcotte Design, who's been serving Southern Vermont for over 20 years. Fish Donkey, the future of tournament fishing. Targets Unlimited, Mercer Sports. Outdoor Secrets Unwrapped hot sauce with that big craft heat and that big craft taste. Corker Boots, P-Line, Sugar Mountain Trading Company. The Outdoor Experience Guide Service, who has been serving Southern Wisconsin for over 20 years. Cooler Guard Spray with the cleaning power of enzymes. Okuma Fishing, Hoffman Lures Incorporated, and a proud member of the Southwest Chamber of Commerce.
We'll meet you again. May God bless you. Adios. Wise men say only fools rushing. But I can't help falling in love.